If you guys are anything like me, you've probably thought frequently of ways to do things easier. I know in the businesses that I run, I'm constantly looking for ways to be more efficient. I'm constantly looking for, ways to make things easier in my daily flow and easier in my life. I've definitely been guilty of this before. And that's letting you in on a little clue on today's topic. Today, we're talking about hard work. We're talking about hustle. We're talking about motivation. So buckle up. Let's get to the topic. What's up, guys? My name is Jonathan. I'm the host here at The Jono Show. Today's message is going to be pretty quick. I think it's something that a lot of you need to hear. I think there's a overemphasis on trying to make things easier in our lives. I think there's this idea that things should be easy. Easy things are good, right? And so when we hit a roadblock, when we hit something that's tough, when we hit, something that doesn't feel good to us, a lot of times we try to find a way around it. We try to find a way to avoid it. And that is such a trap, and that's such a lie, because a lot of times the confidence that we need to achieve the next milestone, achieve the next goalpost, to get to that next step and that next phase in our life is beyond that tough thing, right? It's that tough thing, that breaking down of our muscles that actually ends up building them back stronger and better than they were before. And so in today's message, I'm going to be drilling into that and giving some examples from my own personal life, how this has made a difference. Now, if this message is resonating with you at all, and if you're interested in this topic or the other videos we're putting out on this channel, I would love for you to subscribe. We are building an incredible community here surrounded around living up to your potential. And I think not enough people are passionate, not enough people are committed to finding out what their potential is and living up to it. And I think it's a scary thing when we're not trying to constantly pursue that. And I know a lot of times we can feel lost and trying to figure out what we want to do, but there's such an incredible thing when you see someone who is passionate and who's pursuing something that they truly feel called towards, and something that they truly feel like is their potential. It's that journey that really makes for a very fulfilling and very exciting life. So we would love to have you along on this journey here. But yeah, let's just get into this topic, because again, it's not going to be a long message, but I think it's something that a lot of people need to hear. Like I said, there's this overemphasis on making things easy. And whether it is in our workouts, obviously we know those are supposed to be hard, right? If we want to see results, but that's the same thing in business. And a lot of times the lessons that we learn from our toughest business challenges are actually those ways that we're able to help others later. That's ways that we are able to be experts in something and not make those mistakes in the future. But all of that gets robbed from you if you're not willing to do the hard work and engage with that tough topic and get to the other side of it, right? If you allow that fear and the discomfort to dissuade you from moving forward and moving through whatever you're doing, and you kind of do a U-turn and now you try to avoid it, you are robbing yourself of the opportunity to become a stronger leader in your business. You're robbing yourself of the opportunity to become a better parent or a better spouse or a better teacher or a better leader, whatever it is, right? Whatever the topic is, whoever you are as you're listening to this right now, whatever it is in your life, when there are those roadblocks, when there are those bumps, instead of trying to find easy ways around it, shortcuts, things that are going to help you avoid that friction, you should instead push into it and figure out what's the lesson that I need to learn here and how do I get on the other side of it. Now, you're going to hear from me quite a bit that you should focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. And that's not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying, when I say that, I'm not saying that you should just ignore your weaknesses. What I am saying in that moment is that you focus on your strengths so you can, be a leader and make more of an impact in the circle that you're playing in, right? And if you're the leader of an organization, if you're the CFO, if you're the CEO, if you're the COO, if you're just a little two-person team and, you carry half the responsibilities and the other person carries the other half of the responsibilities, whatever your role is, it's just about understanding yourself, playing to your strengths, and then understanding what your weaknesses are so you can get better in them. But this is not what that's about. This is about not being a chicken. This is about not giving up when the going gets tough. This is about drilling down into those things that are not comfortable, But as you go through them, you learn valuable lessons. And I can't tell you how many times this has played out in my life. This takes being willing to learn these lessons takes a level of maturity, but I think that maturity comes from just a basic willingness to be humble, a basic willingness to listen and take feedback from other people. And a lot of times, even if it is feedback that you don't want to hear, that's the feedback you need. Let me ask you a question. If you were at a job, or maybe you've had jobs like this in the past, have you had tough bosses that you've learned a lot from? I know I certainly have. I've had bosses that I really didn't like, actually, who were so tough to work for, who were really, really hard on me. In fact, I remember a construction job that I had. And basically, the guy would tell me, man, if you aren't on time, exactly on time, and not a second, after 5 a.m. when we were supposed to show up, you're late. You might as well not show up. You're getting written up. And I was like, what is up this guy's butt, right? Like, a couple of seconds past 5 a.m., like he's not even gonna know. But the whole problem with that was I was willing to let myself slip. I was willing to let myself not be accountable to the discipline that it took for me to get there at 5 a.m. or prior. And so again, that's uncomfortable. That's not fun, waking up in the morning and keeping yourself disciplined and accountable to that every single day. And that is a silly example, a silly little example, but there are so many different examples in life, whether it's just discipline with a diet, with fitness, with working out, in a relationship, putting that time, effort, and care into that other person to actually have a good relationship with them, whether that's, a partner, whether that's your kids, whether that's parents, your employees, whoever it happens to be, you not willing to be putting in that discipline consistently to be able to get the result is going to rob you of the incredible benefit, the incredible fruit that'll come from you going through and doing the hard work. And you're gonna get that feedback, right? You're gonna get that feedback when you ask for it. You gotta be willing to be humble and allow yourself the space to grow, right? You can't hold yourself hostage to your past mistakes. You've got to move through the different mistakes, but you can't try to avoid them, because the second you try to avoid them, it's just like cheating on a test, right? You might get through the test, but in the end, are you any smarter? Absolutely not, right? You're only robbing yourself. That's the only person that you're harming when doing this. So I want to encourage you, if you're listening to this right now and you've got something hard you're facing, some friction that's going on in a relationship, business that, you're having trouble. Maybe there's trouble in sales. Maybe you're a horrible leader. You're having a hard time, with your team. A lot of times teams have a difficult time, and it's indicative of a leader who's not willing to lead. Maybe there's toxicity in your leadership style. Maybe you're not leading enough. You're not giving your team enough guidance. And so they don't really have a direction to go, and it's frustrating for them, right? Again, I'm just talking as a leader here. If you're someone in a business, and you're not necessarily the CEO, you're still a leader. You're showing other people by your example how you're going to handle adversity, how you're going to handle feedback, constructive criticism, when there's different problems that are going to come up on a daily basis, right? Each one of us have the ability and are a leader in our different circles. So, again, whether you're the CEO, whether you're the janitor, whether you're somewhere in between, you have the ability to lean into those difficult moments, lean into those, struggles that you're having, and then come out better. The least good that will come of this is that you will be able to help someone else who's going through those struggles and give them advice and give them insight. Again, you're not going to be able to do that if you don't go through the struggle and if you don't learn the lessons and you're not willing to be vulnerable enough with yourself to realize, man, I really sucked at that, but now I'm better at it, right? So we all need to realize that those hardships that we have in our life, those things, whether they're self-inflicted or not, they're teaching us lessons. And, as Tony Robbins has said, life happens for us, not to us, right? It's that whole idea of, leaning into the things that are truly difficult, learning from them, learning the lessons, and then coming out a stronger person, coming out a person who understands now how to deal with that scenario, coming out a person who's willing and able to input in other people's lives in a humble way, but in a way that you can actually help them maybe avoid the length of the learning process. Because a lot of times we can learn the lesson quickly, but if we don't have someone in our life who's willing to, say, hey, look, this is what you're not seeing. This is a blind spot. We're going to end up getting stuck at that lesson a lot longer than we should get stuck at it. So Anyway, I'm hoping that this message hit you guys in a good place today. I hope that wherever you're at in your life, in your personal journey, that you're pushing yourself, that you're willing to do the hard thing, you're willing to have the discipline it takes to get things done. And, at the end of the day, so many diets, so many workouts, so many business plans, so many marketing plans, so many sales tactics and cold calling lists and all the stuff in the world doesn't actually work unless you put in the work. And a lot of times it's not the plan, but it's your execution of the plan that's the problem. So if any of this resonated with you at all, leave me a thumbs up in the comments, shoot me a comment, tell me something that made a difference to you in this. Are you guys struggling with something? Is life just easy breezy? And if it isn't, are you doing the hard work? Are you committed? Are you willing to push through it to live up to your potential and learn those hard lessons? So appreciate you guys listening again. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.